Back here, the Duluth Police Department has joined a national 30 by 30 initiative, pledging to have 30% of its sworn officers be women by the year 2030. The 30 by 30 initiative is a national pledge with more than 300 agencies involved, looking to advance women in policing through recruitment, retention, and representation in all ranks. DPD leaders say as an agency, they need more diverse representation at all levels to ensure they are meeting current staff's needs and community expectations. Duluth Police Chief Mike Sanoa says while this new endeavor has already been producing results in the recruitment area, there is still room for improvement going forward.
So we do want to be that employer of choice where female officers are looking at our organization and saying, hey, they're really into trying to be innovative and make some changes. That would be appealing to people coming into this profession.
With 4 years to go before the year 2030, they say they still have some work to do. Currently, about 15.4% of their force is female. So in order to get to that 30% mark, they would need 19 more female recruits.